Hey guys, there's a couple of things that I forgot to mention. That little girl at the daycare, she was wearing a mask when I showed up, but she took the mask off right away. So I mean, I saw her face. I've never seen her before, and I never saw her after that. Um, what's kind of weird though is that she looked really similar to one of my nieces, and that's kind of weird to me because I've never seen that girl before or after, like I said. And then the other thing that she kept talking about was she kept talking about volcanic rocks for some reason. Something about volcanic rock. Just kept going on and on and on about it. How volcanic rock could be like you wouldn't even know that it's volcanic rock because it just looks like normal rock. But then in a volcano or something like that, it'll melt. But you don't even know that it's volcanic rock because it looks like normal. That's the only other thing. She kept talking about that, and it's just kind of weird. Okay, the other thing that I forgot to tell you guys, and this is really weird too, is that daycare, the other daycare in the other state that I was in. It was at a church, and it seemed like a nice daycare. I mean, I like my son's teachers and everything, but this one day, I called in because I was having problems with the jobs program. As I told you guys, they were persecuting us there, and it wasn't just me. And so I finally just stopped going because they wouldn't let me look for a job. Obviously, that's why I wasn't going. And I called my son's daycare and I told him that he wasn't coming in that day, and that just happened to be the day before. This was in September of last year, and it just happened to be right before September 11th weekend. I don't know if you guys remember that. It was the 10-year anniversary of the September 11th tragedy, and it was right before that weekend. And she said to me, "Well, I hope it doesn't rain for the celebrations this weekend." And I was like, "Yeah, whatever." And I got off the phone because at first I didn't know what she was talking about. I was just like, I didn't know what she meant because I was thinking about all these other things that were going on. And I got off the phone and I'm like, wait a second, what is she talking about celebrations this weekend? I was like, is it a holiday? And then I realized it was the weekend of September 11th. And I'm like, wait a second. Why would anyone celebrate September 11th? Okay, so that started really freaking me out. That was another thing. That was a phone conversation, though, and you know what I've told you about phone conversations can be totally fabricated. So I don't know if she really said that because it was a phone conversation. But it was a very creepy thing to say, nevertheless. Whoever said it, it was a very creepy thing to say, and it freaked me out. And it definitely sounded like her. I mean, it was, and from my perspective, I was talking to her. I didn't, And then the other thing that I was going to tell you guys, I'm trying to think. Maybe that's all there was that I forgot to say. But there's been a lot of stuff that has happened that I haven't told you guys about just because it takes a lot of time to make a video and then post it and all this stuff. And a lot of times there's so much stuff going on that I'll forget what was said or what was done. One other thing I was going to say, at my son's daycare, the last day that I was at this last job, there was this brown Suburban that was waiting in the alley. I was sitting in there in the alley, and then once I left my son at daycare, I was walking down the street, and I went past this bush, and I was pretty much out of sight, and then the Suburban pulled out and pulled up to my son's daycare. And I was just like, that's kind of weird. Why were they just sitting in the alley and waiting until I left and got out of sight, and then they pulled up to the daycare? And I'm like, well, maybe it's just a coincidence, right? But then when all that stuff happened at work, and then when I was going home, I took a different route, and I saw that brown Suburban again, and it was on the other street, and it was driving in the same direction that I was walking on the other street next to us, and then and then when I turned and saw it, it made a U-turn in the middle of the street and then went the other way. And it's just kind of weird behavior. And considering the fact that my job, the people at my job knew what my son was wearing and what he was eating for lunch at daycare, I was just like, no. Oh, and the other thing is my son when he was at daycare, my son never had a problem with his diaper being changed, but when he was at daycare, he started throwing a fit when I would change his diaper, like throwing a fit, like screaming, no, no, no. And my son never even said no before he went to that daycare. He never even said no. And now all of a sudden he's saying no all the time. Okay, something else that's really weird is that that lady that I told you about at that job I had that just psychoed out and started yelling at me that one day, she kept doing weird stuff, you know, for the whole last month that I've been working there. She was doing weird stuff, and one time she asked me into her office, and she was sitting there talking to me about, I don't remember what it was, but I was hearing this kid screaming, no, and I couldn't figure out where it was coming from. I'm like, where's that kid coming from? And it sounded like my son. And he was screaming, no, 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 like in a way that I'd never heard. He's never screamed like that at home. And so I was just like, there's no freaking way in hell I'm taking my son to any daycare ever again for the rest of my life. In fact, I don't even think I'm going to put my son in public school, because I don't know what these freaking evil Satanist people are doing. And I'm telling you, I never used to believe that. I never used to believe that they were all a bunch of Satanists. Okay? They don't know that they're Satanists. They're just, I think most of them don't, maybe. I don't know. Maybe they do know they're Satanists. I know a lot of people that are friends with the system that consider themselves Christian or whatever, but they're friends with the system. And this system is Saturn's system. It says that in the Bible. It's not God's system. It's Saturn's system. And it's evil. And so I'm at this point I'm considering like just completely getting out of society, not ever leaving my son at daycare again, not ever leaving my son at any public school everywhere, because I don't know what the heck they are doing. Now they're injecting kids with things and not even informing the parents. They're taking kids on field trips without even informing the parents. I am done with this system completely. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I forgot to tell you guys, but that's just, you know, those are just the main points of what's been going on recently, just in the last few months in my life. I mean, this is really weird stuff. And I've been praying a lot, and I feel like, I know there's this one scripture that says, when you feel like I'm not with you, it's because I'm carrying you. And I feel like that's what's going on right now, because I keep praying and I'm not seeing any visions really, maybe just little tiny ones. And I'm like, where is Jesus right now? Like, I am going through so much stuff and I can't find him, but I think it's because he's carrying me, because I don't know how I'm remaining sane right now, you guys. Because this is crazy stuff, and they want you to seem crazy. That's the whole point. I think that it has a lot to do with why they do the stuff that they do to you. I think that they desperately want you to be they either want you to lash out at them and get thrown into jail, or they want you to just completely lose your head and start acting crazy so that they can throw you into an asylum, etc., etc. And I think the whole point is because they want custody of the child, because they're doing experiments on us. And so if you're not taking your child to the daycare and you're not taking your kids to school, then they're going to target you. If you're on land that they want, they're going to target you. If they want your kid, they're going to target you. My family was, a family of artists. attractive people. My mom and my dad were attractive people. They targeted our family because they were smart and because they were attractive, and they wanted to conduct experiments on us. That's what's going on here. Okay? They just pick you out. They go, oh, I want that person. It's like a rapist who just walks through a neighborhood and says, oh, I think I want to rape that person over there. That's what this is like. It's really seriously freaking evil, you guys. And I am not going to sit here quietly and just take this crap. I'm not going to allow them, whatever the heck they're doing to my kid, whatever they're doing, our children. It's not just me. It's what they did to me when I was a baby, and when I was a baby and a toddler and a child, my whole childhood, the stuff that they were doing, the crazy shit with the white van waiting for me after school, the field trips that they would take us on where they would blindfold us. I'm just telling you guys, I'm not going to let them do this crap to my kids, and neither should you. You should definitely pay attention to what your kids are saying. If your kids are telling you something weird's going on, that's because something weird's going on. I know, I'm the youngest in my family, and Dr. John Hall says that he's interviewed like hundreds, if not thousands, of TIs, and he says that a large percentage of them are single women, and a large percentage of them are the youngest member in their family. They target people that they think that they're going to get away with this shit. They think that they're going to get away with it, and they target you if they think you're not going to say anything or do anything because they think you're too weak, or nobody listens to you. Like the youngest member of the family, nobody ever listens to the youngest member of the family. Nobody ever listens to a single female with a baby. We're all just a bunch of fucking retards, right? We're all just a bunch of crazy people. They don't listen to us. That's why they're doing this stuff to those people. And they are evil. I had a guy push me while I was pregnant in New York. This guy was 7 feet tall, and he shoved me with his shoulder. I'm telling you, these people are evil. They are evil. And I am totally in agreement with God that they need to be destroyed. And God said, come out of her. He's saying to everybody, get out of the system. Get out of the system. I don't know how you're going to do it. I don't even know how I'm going to do it. But I swear to you, I know something really crazy is going on. These freaking communists are taking over the entire world or something. They're not just communists, though. They're so much worse than communists. They're Satanists. Anyway, I just wanted to give you guys that update and tell you what's going on. And I just think it's important, I think it's important that people realize that it's really serious, it's real, and there's a lot of people out there. I would say the majority of people out there that are going through this aren't telling you that they're going through it because they don't want you to call them crazy. They don't want to be, because that's exactly what happens. The people try to say that people are so scared of what you're talking about that they say that they blame it on you. They blame it on you, and they say you're crazy and you're imagining all of it because they're so scared that they don't want to believe it. Okay? And then you got all these other people that are going through it too. But they don't want to say anything because they can't handle being called crazy. So they're not going to tell you. So you have these other people going, well, how come more people aren't going through it? Well, a lot of people are going through it, but most of the people aren't talking about it because they're too scared of being called crazy. Anyway, I'm running out of time, and this is it. I'm not going to make a bunch of videos. I just wanted to give you guys an update. I know it was, kind of a ranting session, but I think it's important sometimes that people realize, that it's serious. It's serious. So I'm going to be praying. I'm just going to be praying that God helps me through this and helps me figure out what I'm doing because no human is able to help me with this.